Y'all. I'm so sick and tired of this rain. Oh my god, I have stuff I need to do outside. I cannot wait for summer. So I'm a little snotty because I have sinus issues. I literally only got what chapter is this? Oh, something popped up. Hold on. What is this? I don't know what that is. Like I'm only on chapter, I think it's 4 maybe. Or did I get through to the next one? Nope, I got through to chapter 5, halfway through 5. In this book. I know other people are doing lives and talking about this. I am trying to avoid it at all cost. Oh my gosh. Because I have seen a little spoilers and I'm like, man, I gotta really read this book. But yeah, so I'm trying to I think this is where we left off last time. Mm, okay, so I think this is exactly where we left off last time. I'm trying to make room so I can put my book on my desk, but yet I can still have the mic by my mouth and you can hear me. Um, starting off with the basics of what the files, what we've already read, tell us. We know from Dylan's first 2 statements that witnesses' recollections can be sketchy at best. This is in Chris's own words. We know what written reports by Officer Nunes and Warner, excuse me, Warner seem to differ significantly from what body camera footage shows. We know that Bethany delayed to call 911, started the whole thing off on the wrong foot. Maybe I did read this. Let's just keep going. Okay. And that statements provided by Hunter only made things worse. We cannot ignore the fact that Detective Talbot's December 6th report appears to directly contradict the handwritten report he filed on November 11th. Forensic analysis by the state blood spatter expert Pauline Sutton So's confession where it was supposed to add science. So we already went over the state's stuff ish. The Sutton is for the state. And wait till we get into chapter 5. Like some of this shit I'm like, what the fuck? What's up, Chad? Dude, I bought the book, the Broken Plea book, and I'm reading it. So let's see here. Let me see. So confession we're supposed to be added science. In my opinion, Bill Thompson's plea hearing summons is rife in half truths. And misunderstandings. Ann Taylor promised to mount a defense, but that never happened. In order to map a path through the chaos, we need to find the beginning, a center, a time, a place for which everything change, all the change flows. Fortunately, we can agree on certain things, including the fact that at 4 a.m. on November 12th or 12, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, November 13th, 2022, there was a three-story house near the middle of the U of I campus, and midpoint of the house was it was its open second floor. I cannot read today to save my life. My friend, I don't read books either. I don't do books. I hate books. But I've been following this case since the beginning, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna read it. Yeah, I'm not a book person either. I'd rather watch the movie than read the book. The center of the second floor living room, and the center of the living room stood a white folding table. Everything that happened early Sunday morning had to pass through that. Yes, we have already read this now that I think about it. So let me fast forward. I can't freaking talk today. Turning sideways. We already know that Officer Nunes and Warner, let me see, their body cam shows that Hunter and Warner had turned sideways through this table. We already know this. Oh wait, no, we don't. I haven't gotten to that part. This table, this beer pong table. Shut the fuck up, Chad. Shut the fuck up, man. No, we already know that this table is going to play a very, very important role, and you guys will see here once I get going. Um, Table, anyone looking at the photo? Oh, I have photos. I didn't send the photos. Shoot, I'll have to do that here at the end. Um, Sutton clearly believed that Xana was injured in proximity to the table. Anyone looking at the photos would wonder how cast off blood could possibly have landed on the 2-inch vertical surface in the elongated pattern. Remember, Xana would have to have been fleeing her killer through the 18-inch space, shedding blood from an object in motion, which means like left to right, up to down, Michael Myers stuff or Jason Voorhees stuff, or whichever floats your boat, without disturbing any of the objects to her left or right. That seems impossible, but no one seems to care. This table really comes into play here in a little bit. I'm trying to find my next section. Okay, stain D was located on the north side of the wooden ledge of the half wall. So when you walk in the house, like you're going in on the first floor, you got to go left to go up the stairs. That's where Bethany's room is. So when you go up those stairs and you make it into the living room, that there's like a half wall situation there, like a kind of like a banister, but it's just a half wall. That's the half wall they're talking about. Let me see. North side of the wooden ledge of the half wall in the living room, stain D was tested for the presumptive presence of blood and was positive. Stain D is a transfer blood stain. So it means transfer from clothes, from skin, from stabby, whatever. Testing of stain D on the edge of the ledge showed a mixture of DNA. Ethan being the primary contributor to this blood. There is no physical evidence to indicate that Ethan was ever outside the bedroom after the stabbing, his bloodletting injuries. Of sustaining, sorry. Jesus Christ, I can't read today. Dyslexia. Yeah, so Ethan never left the room. He never left the room considering there was no blood on his feet. So, 3 areas of staining are noted on the stairwell between the second level and the first level as depicted, and then it gives the number, which I don't have the picture number, case number stuff. On the north wall, these stains are labeled as 23, 24, and stain 27 is in the area located above the steps. So let me figure this out. Let me see. 3 stains, let me see. In the stairwell between the second level and the first level. So it sounds like they found blood stains on the stairs going from the first floor up to the second floor. Who do we know that is dead set on going down those steps and supposedly in the middle of the night? I'm telling you, I don't like Dylan at all. Mm-mm. Nope, nope. When I first got into this case back when it happened, Dylan. Mm-mm. Okay. As we will see, no diluted bloodstains were found anywhere in Maddie's room or in Xana's. They were found only in the common areas of the house, specifically the second floor, which the second floor is bathroom, living room, kitchen. So who cleaned them? Who diluted these stains? I'm gonna try not to choose violence today. My dog has chose violence, and I'm surprised he's actually being good right now. Had police or Sutton purchased a white folding table, 10 solo cups, and a small amount of liquid with viscosity. It's one of those words I can't say. You guys use your, yeah. Similar to blood, consistency of blood. There we go. They might quickly have found the 18-inch gap. Okay, remember that's between the table and I believe the half wall. Far too narrow to I'm sorry, to recreate the table's position with what we know about the crimes. It seems to have been virtually impossible for an assailant to cast liquid blood against the knee wall, the half wall, from the far end of the beer pong table without hitting the cups. Okay, so you remember 18 inches. That's not a lot. That's just a little over a foot. Like, and then trying to think like Brian was trying to go through there. That kid was tall and gangly and just I think he would have knocked it over, but remember, this table plays an important part here a little bit in the book. Um, the wooden ledge atop the knee wall or the floor, simply do not match. Gravity does not lie. If this does ring alarm bells, there's more. Mm, let me see. Okay, then he says image and he gives some letters and numbers. Depicts the stains identified on the baseboards in the hallway between the living room on the second level and the bedroom assigned to Xana. On the left side of the hallway are stains G and H, and on the right side of the hallway is stain I. Though somewhat confusing, Sutton's report documents the presence of cast off blood splatter on baseboard molding approximately 2 inches above the hardwood floor. So that would be the only thing I can think of with it being like 2 inches off the floor is if, like, I mean, I want to say like swing, swing the stabby, stabby. You know what I mean? Like, or somebody's already running through that's has some blood coming from something. I don't know. It's weird. It's so low to the floor. Stains G, H, and I were tested, presumably presence of blood, and were positive. The physical appearance of stain G, H, and I is consistent with diluted blood. Diluted blood is the result of intermixing blood with another liquid. I really think, allegedly, in my opinion, how do I want to say this? One of the survivors cleaned up. I'm just gonna say it. Stain 28 is depicted in image da 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 da, and in closer detail in the image da 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 da, letters and numbers on the north side of the hallway between the living room and the bedroom of Xana. Stain 28 gave a positive presumptive test for blood. Stain 28 is a swipe stain, so I'm assuming either somebody like you would be walking and like you would walk against like, if you paint a wall or something and you brush up against it, you're gonna get a swipe of paint on your like, on your shoulder or wherever you touched it. I think that's what it is. But it would be like a there's already blood, like, let's say on the shoulder, and you walk by a wall or, like, something and the spot where the blood is touches the wall. It's swiped on there. So it's just reversed from the paint on the arm. It's just going from you to the thing. It's 20. Oh my god. Stain 28 appears dark in color and not diluted. Okay, so 28 is literally the only one. I believe there was only one on the second floor that was not diluted. It was probably missed. They didn't see it. An undiluted swipe stain indicates that the blooded object slash surface made contact with this wall while in motion. I should just kept writing and shouldn't have to explain it. Mm. They probably thought it would dry and nobody would see it. As you as you go up the stairs to the second floor, you enter a small living room area. There was a folding table set up on the west side of the area, particularly blocking the entry to the west hallway. Actually, you know what? We're gonna pause real quick, and I am going to show you these pictures so you can get a better idea of what's of what is going on. Because I went looking when I was reading this, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta show." Let me see. I don't know if they. Okay, let me send all these. I have like the ones of the kitchen and stuff like that. I don't have many, but I have some. So give me a second. Mm, okay, let me pull up my phone here. So what's up, Chad? Why are you up so early? You're like a whole bunch of hours behind me. Like, oh, there's. I was like, I know I just sent these to myself. Gotta get them Second to load in here. Okay, let me see. We are doing where missing projecting can delete it until it is standing against a lot of objects. Contact upstairs on the second floor. Set up on the west wall. Okay, so we want to. So I'm gonna show you. I want to show you this one. Make sure none of my info is in this. So this. Okay, so this. Okay, so right here's the beer pong table. This is that half wall. This is the stairs over here that go down. And then this is Xana's room, and I'm assuming bathroom right here. But you can see, I mean, that looks more than 18 inches. But you can see that right there. And then I also have this screenshot right here too. So back here's that wall. You can see like right back here's the wall. And then the table. But it's weird. Oops, I keep zooming in. But it's weird how these are all set up nice and neat. And then you have this end where the cups are all just scattered on the floor. I'm sorry, but if somebody's running through right here, they're either gonna knock this over, this more likely the table would get knocked over for the simple fact that it's a light and it can be moved. So this table plays a very, very important role in the upcoming what's gonna be coming up in the book. Um Okay. Yeah, it says, side of the area. It says tables partially blocking the entry to the west hallway, what we just saw where all the cups were nice and neat down Xana's room. It's partially blocking the west hallway. The table had multiple areas of red liquid on the table that appeared to be blood. Now, those were supposed to be like super hard to see, I guess. I don't know. I looked at the pictures, maybe I missed them, but I couldn't find them. According to Sutton, the blood splatters were diluted, dried, and faint. Talbot continued, as I walked west from the living room, there was a half wall to the right. We just saw that where you come up the stairs. I could see multiple drops and runs of red liquid along the entire half wall. Hold on. Let me look at these pictures again. Let me pull them up real quick. I don't I don't see anything unless it's down by like um oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't want to do that. Unless it's down by like right where you walk in. Shows the hallway. Yeah, I can't see them. Let me see. Would this be a good? Oh yeah, I'm gonna show this. So then you can kind of get a visual of what's going on where we're at in the house. So this is um you got your first floor, your second floor, and your third floor. Remember, Dylan was in bed when all this was going on with Kaylee and Maddie. This is right above Dylan's room. Tell me how this girl didn't hear shit. Um, multiple drops from okay, we already read that. Sutton noted no drops of any kind, nothing obviously red, yet Talbot reported across the half wall, I saw more red stains on the wall above first and second floor staircase. Stains on the wall above the first and second floor staircase. That doesn't make sense. Because let me pull it back up. First floor staircase, second floor staircase. So, am I like not comprehending this? Above the first and second floor staircase. So, it would have to be up here. Why didn't he just say third? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. The stains and liquid were consistent with cast off and appeared to be blood. Photographs dispute this. Continuing west down the hallway, where there was a bedroom to the left of the hallway ending. Wait. Bathroom, sorry. Bathroom. Okay. Bathroom to the left of the hallway ending at a bedroom. Okay. So we're at. So he's talking like right here. There's like a bathroom right there. Um, Let me see. On the north wall of the hallway near the bedroom door, there appeared to be a red colored transfer mark that at approximately at my shoulder height. Well, then we don't even know how tall you are. How Ugh. And this would be the exact spot where Bill Thompson's narrative and everything the media has reported comes to a screeching halt. Everyone looking at the threshold to Xana's room will immediately notice that splatter found inside the wait. Notice that splatter found inside and splatter found outside look dramatically different. Let me go back and look real quick, see if we can see anything on that wall. Oop, that's the wrong one. Hold on. 'Cause I have it's the kitchen. I don't want the kitchen. Let me see. I have that picture going down to Xana's room. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So I don't know. Um, Xana rooms. Okay, flutter where the okay. Let me see. Look dramatically different. Where the floor inside her room is covered in blood, the floor outside is completely clean. This completely clean thing also comes into play when we get into Ann Taylor's her person that like the analysis on her side, because I was like I literally yelled, "What the fuck?" I was like, "What the hell?" So keep that in mind, the outside of Xana's room was completely clean, okay? Tuck it back in the little file system. How is it possible that all bloodstains found in common areas of the second floor were diluted with an unknown substance, while all those found in Maddie's room and Xana's were not? How did the killers slay Kaylee and Maddie on the third floor, then track their blood downstairs to the second, where it mysteriously became diluted? How did Xana's blood start out diluted on the beer pong table, only to become whole by the time she got to her room? How did Ethan how did Ethan's undiluted blood end up on the knee wall, which is a half wall, at the top of the stairs to the first floor if he never left the room? As we will soon discover, these were just the first whispers of doubt. Yeah, so there's I think when they're talking about, like, the top of the stairs for the first floor, I believe it is, uh, kinda right where you turn to go down the stairs. Here, let me go do this. Let me see. I believe they're talking about, like, maybe right here. That's the only thing I can think of, because this would be this whole area would be, like, the top of the stairs, or, like, this would be the top of the stairs. That's the only thing that I can think of. Give me a second. I'm because some stuff, like I said the other day, I wanna show the 4 kids a little some respect, and there's some stuff that I'm just not gonna say about it. So just let me check this one real quick. Okay, we got a long read because we're getting into the DoorDash stuff. I do have that video of that woman. It's on my videos. It's a little snippet of her, interview if you wanna go watch that. It says on November 23, 2022, at approximately 20:39 hours, Molly, we're just gonna call her Molly because I'm not gonna put her last name out, even though everybody already knows it. Came to the Moscow Police Department to be interviewed about her presence in the area of the house and during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. Molly was identified as being in the area through records obtained from DoorDash via a search warrant and was confirmed as being in the area based off of Google geofencing warrant, which is obtained as a result of this investigation. I was accompanied by the FBI special agent, is it Alex? I don't know, Skeleton, excuse me, during this interview. Molly told me she worked for 12 to 18 hours on the night of November 12th to the 13th and received 3 orders on King Road/Queen Road area. 2 of the orders were at the 500 Queen Road apartment complex. I wonder if that's the one next to it. I don't know. I know there's an apartment complex that was next to the house, and I believe there's one behind it. Oh, yep, which is immediately to the east of the King Road house. Molly said she delivered at the King Road house was her final order for the evening. Molly said she could not find the house address as the numbers was hidden by the porch light. They do have a porch light up to the left of their door, which caused her to remain in the area for approximately, uh, 15 minutes. Molly also stated her Google Maps told her to go to the parking lot immediately behind the house. So that because I know, like, the house is set up weird. I don't know, it's like a weird there's like a weird loop that goes behind the house. Molly stated she initially parked in the front of the house and could see a female in the top left window, the 3rd story bedroom. So that would have been Maylee. God dang it. Kaylee and Maddie's room. Okay, okay. So, let me see. Molly said she saw the same female a couple more times in the same window, and she would duck down when Molly looked at her. Why would one of the girls be ducking down? Unless they're, like, playing with Murphy, but I don't know, that's just weird. I just find that really weird, and I don't know what that has to like, where that comes into play. Molly then said she drove to the back parking lot behind the house and parked. She stated she could see the back courtyard, so like the back porch area where the sliding glass door is. You can kind of see the sliding glass door right here. So there's like a little area back there behind the house. Behind the house and noticed all the lights were on. Molly stated her map told her to walk into the back of the house, but she did not feel comfortable doing so because there was no path. Molly said she started to walk down the road, which runs north and south, immediately to the east of the residence. So she walked she parked back here somewhere and then walked around the house because it's got that weird, like, there's like a road right here, which is weird. I don't know why they would do a house. Like, this house was just so freaking weird, and you could tell it's been added on and added on. It's just weird. Um, runs north and south immediately. Molly stated a tan sedan drove next to her while she was walking. Molly said there was a male driver and noticed he did not look at me. She said he looked completely zoned and just drove by her. Molly later stated the driver was white with blonde or red spiky hair. Yeah, whatever. Molly also noticed the dome light in the car was on when she went by and later told me the male was wearing a light colored collared shirt. Molly stated she walked back up to her car and drove back to the front of the house, at which point she saw the address numbers. Let me see here. Oh, you can't see. But the address numbers are like right in here, like right where that middle finger would be to the door. Molly said she placed the order at the front door, took a picture, and then left at approximately 4 o'clock. During the time Molly was in the area of the King Road residence, the white Elantra can be seen via the camera at the house driving back and forth on Wayland. I'm gonna butcher this name. Valentina? The W drive. I don't know. And then enter the King Road/Queen Road loop at approximately 3:56. So the loop is I'm assuming it's this area, that road that goes back behind the house. So at 3:56, she took the picture, or she dropped the food and took the picture at the front door here at 4. So he was already there. Oh, that girl, that could have been turned out bad for her. At the point, Molly pulled into the front parking lot before she dropped the order off. The white Elantra pulled in behind Molly's vehicle, a gray Subaru Forester, and then exited the King Road at approximately 3:58 hours. So she's down here, parked somewhere. Let's just say she's parked right here. Brian pulls in right back here. Huh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he probably seen the DoorDash and was like, "Nope. Nope, not doing this." Let me see. Then exited the King Road approximately 3:58 hours. Molly did not mention seeing the white Elantra behind her at any time. Wait, so then how do they know he parked behind her? Is there a camera somewhere? Some video that we haven't seen? I continued to question Molly about her time near the residence. She told me she walked down Crane Road at one point with her flashlight out. Molly can be seen doing so on the footage from. Yeah, they must have a camera. Is this like, yeah, from 11112 King Road. Okay, never mind. 1112 King. Could tell the female saw an upstairs. Let me see, wait. Molly also continued to tell me the female she saw in the upstairs bathroom window would duck down. I don't know why they said bathroom because we know that's not a bathroom up there. It's a bedroom. Maybe Molly thought it was a bathroom. We looked down when Molly looked at her. Molly described her as having long brown hair. Molly stated she could not identify the girl as one of the victims. I'm reading the rest of this because I think it's kind of just like not important. I told us Molly was able to remember. Okay. Molly was able to remember she had her dog with her during one of her walks in the area, but did not clarify much more on the ways of the details of the evening. We thanked blah 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 and blah 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 blah. Blah. Okay, yeah, we're done with that. So we know Brian was there at 3:56, and from what they've stated, he pulled in behind her, but she didn't notice. How do you not notice that at night? Like, it's dark out, it's almost 4 a.m., and you don't notice headlights pulling in behind you? Girl. Take a little break here real quick. I'm trying to drink water as I'm doing this because I get very, very dried out. Ugh. We still got some pages to go through. We got a lot of pages to go through. And it gets to the point where I'm just literally highlighting a full page in chapter 5. We only got like 3 more pages for chapter 4. All right. At about 11:28 p.m., Detective Powell, Detective Schwicki, I think it's how you say his name, and I started marking the evidence with number place cards while Detective Roberts photographed the exhibits. Let me see. Those exhibits included 4 items: 2 blood swabs, rolled $2 bills, located on desk along north wall of the second floor. Let me see here if we can see this desk. Desk located. The only thing I can think of would be I don't remember seeing any desk. Would only be the one with the lights on it. That's the only thing I can think of. That's literally the only thing I can think of. Well, listen to this stuff. Okay, rolled $2 bills located on the desk along the north wall of floor 2, west bedroom, and blue colored powder, later to be determined crushed Adderall in the same location. Huh. So yeah. Yeah, let that sink in a little bit. What do you use with the rolled $2 bill? Okay. Fast forwarding. Ugh. Looking at photographs from the top of the first floor staircase, so here, which are now widely available online, it appears obvious that while swinging a laden instrument from right to left. The killer must have been standing in the exact space where police found the table. This is where I said this table comes into play. In my opinion, there is no way to explain a blood transfer with those characteristics. How is this possible? How could the killer have been chasing and stabbing Xana, moving from the kitchen is back here behind this wall over here, okay? I just lost my spot. Moving from the kitchen across the living room. Hold on. I have pictures. Let me pull up. Okay. So let me what am I doing here? Give me a second. I want to clear that out. And then I'm going to add in. Okay, so here's the kitchen. Food, whatever. Crap, whatever. The door, you can see the door's clearly open. So moving from this kitchen, okay. That's not the one I wanted. Let me see here. I have it somewhere. Okay, here it is. Let me add this in. Okay. So this is coming from the kitchen right here. Comes around. Okay. So they got to walk through and come around. Okay. Keep this in mind. Moving from the kitchen across the living room. Wish I could do like another, just go from side to side here. Okay. Across the living room. What the heck is this? This isn't what I wanted. There's another view there. Okay. Let me add this in. Okay. So she came from the kitchen, ran through here, and this way, okay? Moving from the kitchen across the living room, through the table as she fled screaming towards her room. A possible answer is that the table was not there. It was not here. That's what I'm sorry, but if you're coming around that corner, as we seen that corner, it's a sharp little turn. My question is, I wrote a little mark. Who moved it? How did it get moved? That's what I want to know. Okay. Back to let me bring up. I want to bring up the house so you guys can get visuals of what they're talking about. Let me see here. What is this one? Oh, this is what I wanted. Okay, let me put the house back up. Okay. Back to the criminologist Sutton's report on page 61. She wrote, "Letters and numbers depicts the upper portion of Xana's bedroom door. The bloodstains depicted indicate a cast-off pattern composed of diluted blood and associated flow patterns. Cast-off is created when blood is released from the result of a blooded object in motion." So up here along the thing, there was something in motion. The appearance of the bloodstains reveal that the blood has been diluted by another liquid. The mouth and nose injuries of Xana was noted in the autopsy report are potential sources of diluted blood. So she had some type of mouth injuries and nose that that's where spit and saliva comes into play. There's no logical way to make sense of this, though Xana is found laying in a pool of blood. The blood on the bottom, let me see, with blood on the bottoms of her feet, so that means at some point she was standing up. She was standing up inside the room. There's no blood feet prints out here, so it has to be inside the room. She was standing up fighting. Mm. There are no trails whatsoever outside her room, meaning she did not go back into the living room after suffering injuries to her nose and mouth. That did not happen. Laboratory Reports show 0 samples of diluted blood anywhere inside her room. Further, Sutton did not address or explain how bloodletting trauma to Xana's nose and mouth would produce volumes sufficient to wash bloodstains off her body. On page 62, she continued. So, I don't know. I've been trying to go back and forth because we know Ethan and Xana's blood's out here, so is Kaylee and Maddie's. But I don't know, like, Xana never left the room after she started, after he started in on her. So how did all the extra blood get out here? Unless, I mean, because if you think about it, if Xana's running, let's say she's running from the kitchen. Let's just say because we don't we're never gonna actually know what really happened in this house. We're never gonna know, and that sucks for the families. I wish they could find out. But let's just say she's running from the kitchen. Okay. If he The only way I can think there would be 2 possible ways for any of this blood to get, no, actually 3 possible ways to get. 1, he's chasing her, okay? He, nicks her, let's say nicks her. She's bleeding, and he's trying to eat, 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 like, Jason Voorhees, this stuff, and he nicks her, and as he's going back up, the blood flies off the knife, okay? But then Ethan's blood is also found out here. All 4 of their bloods are found out here. So then, let's say Xana makes it back to her room, and then that's where the final things happen to her. But then she's screaming, she's trying to fight him off. They're standing up at one point. Ethan. Ethan's in bed sleeping. So, did Ethan get up? Did he hear this? Did he try to attack him? I'm sorry, but if my girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever your choice is, comes running in, there's somebody else, I'm gonna try to attack them while they're doing what they're doing to this. I'm gonna try to get this person off this person. So, how is it possible that Brian was able to do what he did to Xana and Ethan's in there? Also, another point too to be made. Oh, and my third thing is, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm still on my second one. He did what he did in the bedroom to both of them and came out, but it doesn't explain, though, how Ethan's blood would be out here if there's nobody else out here that he's trying to swing at. Okay? Third scenario, Dylan helped. It's the only third scenario I can come up with. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. I can't remember now. I don't know. There's just something sketchy about this, and it's been driving me nuts. Because the only way their blood can be out there in that living room is if he's swinging a knife at somebody. Or I don't know. Like, it's just so many questions are gonna go unanswered, and it's making me mad. I just about knocked my vase of flowers off. Um, let's see. Okay. All right. Drip stains were noted on the bedroom floor, below the door. Okay, so we're still in Xana's room here. If I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, so Xana's door is right in here. Okay, that looks like it could be like, I don't know. Let's just say Xana's door is right here. Okay. Okay, the drip stains noted on the bedroom floor below the door. Excuse me. These drip stains do not appear to have been altered or diluted. Drip stain. Okay, so then this would go back to Xana running through here, and he gets a good one in on her, and blood hits the door. Okay, what is blood or any liquid gonna do? It's gonna run down. So then that means there was enough blood on here on the door to have it run down and drip right below the door. Just okay, they do not have been appear to be altered or diluted. Um, Testing of the drip stains on the floor indicates the blood of Xana. The location of these drip stains near the opening edge of the bedroom door represents the furthermost location of undiluted blood from Xana. Once Xana was actively bleeding, there is no physical evidence that she was ever outside of this location because Xana had blood on her feet, on the bottoms of her feet. And I'm assuming that's how they are coming to a conclusion that once she started bleeding, she didn't leave the room. Oh, I got a piece of hair on my arm. Okay, let's see. Extra diluted blood splatter, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Before mapping out other anomalies and further questioning Sutton's report, it becomes necessary to add two new disclosures. The first involving a ring-style security cam located approximately 50 feet west of the house at 1112 King Road. At 4:17 a.m., the camera recorded audio of what most analysts believe was a woman screaming or yelling. We all heard that audio. I don't know if you guys remember hearing it, but you might have to find it. 'Cause I'm definitely not because there's too much stuff online about this, but you could hear what sounded like a woman screaming, and everybody just brushed it off. They're like, "Oh, it's too far away." Blah blah blah. We do not know if this how well this house was insulated. We don't know. Um, the second disclosure involves a photo. Though not publicly disclosed at the time of this writing, Bill Thompson's massive file contains a Snapchat photo taken at 2:27 a.m. Sunday. The photograph depicts Dylan reclining on the brown couch in the corner of the living room where she, Bethany, and Lakeland were said to be watching the Vampire Diaries. I had to read my note to make sure I was keeping up with I wasn't missing it. What stands out is not the fact that, upon closer inspection, Dylan's right eye is slightly open, okay, suggesting she was not asleep at all. The real significance of this photo, and this is going to blow your mind, guys. This goes back to the ping pong table. Shows that the white folding table in the background, including 10 red solo cups neatly arranged in beer pong formation. Most important, it shows the presence alignment of the table as it stood approximately 19 minutes before the crimes. Okay. Let me get another drink of water. Now, this is where it goes a little deeper into this table. Had investigators found this photo and used the console or the plank lines on the floor to measure a proximity, they would have discovered that the table was not where Nunes found it when he arrived. So that table, so when he found the table, it was like right here. It was not there in the photo 19 minutes prior to everything happening. Which it doesn't wait two something. It can't be right. I don't know. Anyways, Nunes found it when he had arrived. Analyzing the sound of the ring cam thud, police might have speculated that it was the table flipping over that stood out in the middle of Xana's scream. Together, the two new clues might have presented detectives the best evidence yet that whatever happened in the living room that night may not have been what the witnesses told them. Now, here's the thing. In the pictures we seen, one end the cups were scattered everywhere. On the other end, they were all nice and neat. Now, if the thud was the table falling over and like the firecrackers or pop sounds that they heard was the cups hitting the floor, who put the cups back? Who put them back in a nice, neat order? Because I don't know if you guys have played beer pong. I've played beer pong back in my day. And when we're done, we just left the cups lay wherever the fuck they were at. We didn't care. They'd be all over the table, on the floor, everywhere. So I'm questioning that. Who would take the time to do that? The only thing I could think of is somebody trying to wipe off dilute bloodstains. And then they get interrupted during so they don't finish putting them back up. Okay. Bethany told me prior to to hearing the firecrackers, she thought she heard Murphy bark. She also heard what she thought was the beer pong table moving and cups falling. I don't think the table fell. I really don't. I think it got moved. Like if Xana was running through here somewhere, wherever the hell the table was at. I don't know where the table was at in the picture. I wish I could see the picture, but I can't. But let's if you're coming around this corner, I mean, if I'm running for my life, I'm gonna be bouncing off this wall. Like I'm gonna forget to turn and I'm just gonna hit the wall and try to keep running. That's just what's gonna happen. I won't care. I'm gonna try to get away. So at some point she hit the table. She could have hit that the side with the cups that are knocked down and moved it. Cause like I mean, we've all moved folding tables or any type of table. They make a sound. You know what I mean? So you're gonna hear this stuff, and then it could be the firecrackers. But why? Why didn't? Oh wait, let me see, Bethany. Your room's right there. So I would really like to know where this table was because it was Bethany that told she heard the firecrackers and then she heard Murphy bark. I'm just trying to figure out like where the table would be because this is Bethany's room. Table was found here. Ah, I wish I knew where it was at. The beer pong table was located in the living room, which is above Bethany's bedroom. Okay, so I'm guessing the beer pong table is over here. But then that doesn't make sense. If Xana's trying to run, she's gonna run this way. And if the beer pong table's over here, then maybe it was Xana trying to get out this way, get downstairs out the door. Ugh, so many questions. So many. Bethany stated she was not sure what the sequence of events were for sure, but she knows she heard Murphy bark. The beer pong table and the firecrackers first before she called Dylan to see if she heard the same thing. Well, yeah, Dylan's fucking room is right there. I don't like Dylan. I don't. I need another water. I just, ugh. I get it being shocked or being scared or being in fear makes you do some weird things, but I absolutely hate Dylan. See, the possibility that Xana knocked over the table while fleeing for her life is not hard to imagine, and it's not. And that would be expected. Pulling things, like even off that cute little table with the lights that sit along the wall over here, pulling stuff off of there, throwing it at them. That's all to be expected. It is perfectly plausible that Bethany was awakened by the violent struggle directly above her bed. Okay, Bethany's bed, right, would be right here. Um, and that she mistook the flip of the table for a loud report of firecrackers, followed by the beer pong table moving and cups falling. Excuse me, falling. What does not seem plausible to me is the possibility that Dylan heard none of this while standing in her room, less than 8 feet away. To me, it looks like Dylan's bed goes this way. And that bitch didn't hear shit. And she didn't hear none. Girl, Okay, a little bit of a break because I'm doing a lot of talking. That was the last, and we're gonna move on to chapter 5. And this is gonna be a long discussion. Oh, I have another picture that I need to send to myself so I can show you guys. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, give me a sec, guys. This is a lot of talking. There is a new person that enters the chat in this chapter. So, oh, y'all better love me and better sub up because this is a lot of talking. Can't give me a second. We'll get going here. Okay, it's chapter 5, Starry Night, 22MO 1810. Madis up something. I don't know what that word is. Have not been able to pronounce it because I'm reading this book. I'm like, what the fuck is this? The new person that enters the chat is Dr. Brent E. Turvey. I think that's how you say his name. Is a forensic scientist who was hired by Ann Taylor's law office to analyze Brady materials obtained from Latah County prosecuting attorney Bill Thompson. Okay. this this is where you're gonna be like, because he starts to pick apart Sutton's analysis. And in the one part, you can be like, what the fuck? There's no way. There would be no way. Okay. So, like I said, I mean, this is his it's not a report. There's little reports in it, but it's mostly him just talking, and I went through and I picked out things that we don't know, things we haven't heard. So I'm gonna kind of be skipping through over the boring shit that we already know. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you want to know all of it, I suggest you buy the book. Um, okay. Just looking at it, it's wrong, Turvey stated, pulling no punches. Okay, I believe he's talking Barlow widely respected DNA analysis, the role that makes sense, can even evidence found on the K-bar sleeve. Okay. He's talking about the sheath. Okay. Just looking at it, it's wrong, Turvey stated, pulling no punches. They use another word, scabbard. I don't it's a sheath. It's another word for sheath, and it's weird that they changed the term in here. So I'm just gonna say sheath. The sheath is placed wrong. It's too clean, and it is. Because if you like look online, you can find pictures of it. It's too clean. It's very too clean. It's upside down. It's underneath the body, hanging out off the side of the bed. Just looking at one set of pictures related to the sheath, I said, okay, we need a top to bottom reconstruction and crime scene analysis because this is wrong. Yeah. Yeah. He goes a little more into it. You see, Turvey is right. Evidence presented by Bill Thompson at Kohlberger's charge or change of plea hearing suggests plot gaps that are massive in scope. The most important might be his assertion with the lone offender entering the house at 4 o'clock in the morning. Killed 4 college students in less than 5 minutes. This is where this is where I'm finding it hard to believe that Brian's what, 27 or something like that, and he killed 4 people in 5 minutes. 4 young athletic kids. I find it hard to believe. Unless he was like on, you know what I mean? It says in less than 5 minutes, left a witness unharmed and escaped without a trace. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna do what you did when you went into the house, you're not gonna leave any witnesses. That's why I feel like Dylan had some type of play in this. Even though I know they went through all the cell phone records, she could have had a freaking burner phone. We don't know. Yes, there is the matter of DNA, but Trivy has a great deal to say about this origin and therefore is validated. In short, he does not buy it. The victims are soaked in blood. The floors are soaked in blood in the bedroom. There's nothing on him at all. Okay. It's hard to see because my room is not that bright. And I'm trying to see where I highlighted here. He was talking about Koberger and the fact that during extensive multi-agency searches of his Pullman, Washington apartment, his Hyundai Elantra, and his parents' home in Pennsylvania, not not a scrap of forensic evidence was found. This is the part where it's gonna be like, what the fuck, maybe? I don't know. It's coming up though. So, because these things are true, you start small and then use your information to expand with questions and try to figure out how that blood moves around the scene or fails to move around the scene and how one person couldn't have done it in as short of time. See that I swear there's got to be a second person. I mean, I am totally like not on Brian's side at all. Not on his side at all. He's a piece of shit. But I just find it hard to believe that he did what he did by himself. Um, short period of time. Then you start realizing that all the evidence points to more people, or at least two people, and multiple causes of death. Because if you go back to the beginning, oh my gosh, the autopsy reported that there was more than one knife. Um, Oh, what is it? More because all knives are they're different. They all have their own impression. You have knives that the short part is smooth. You have knives where it's like rigid and all kinds of things. And then in the autopsy report, they report that there was more than one knife used. Let me see. Points to more people or at least two people in multiple cases of death that multiple weapons were used. And it just sort of builds builds out. You start asking questions and the logics that make it impossible for the narrative to hold. Many of the following questions seem obvious. How does one my God, reconcile Talbot's December 6th report with the handwritten inventory he filed out in November 13th? If police found the knife sheath in the bed under Mogan's thigh, why did Talbot state in his November 13th inventory that it was found on the floor? Why does the sheath not seem to appear in Nunes's body cam footage as Warner looks down, shining his flashlight from less than 2 feet away? When Nunes goes back to look for himself, why does he not seem to notice? It's because it wasn't there. Turvey believes Detective Talbot wrote during his search that he found the sheath on the floor. Perhaps we should believe him. If it is true, how important is all this within the larger investigation? Huge. Trivy said with a nod because the first people, sorry, at the scene, the first documentation at the scene does not indicate its position. It isn't even mentioned by first responders. Dun dun dun. Yeah, let me get a drink of water. So even like EMS is not even saying that they saw it. I mean, the way it's placed, somebody would have saw it because it would have been hanging out. Let me see. Does not indicate. Let me see. Where did I leave off? Does not indicate where its position. It's not even okay. Okay, let me see here. And then it is a huge deal. If you walk into the room and you walk around the corner of the bed, you're gonna see it. Maddie, it was on Maddie, and it looks like in the picture maybe the bed's right here, maybe. So I mean, you would see it. Perhaps Nunes and Warner saw this sheath, but they did not mention it in their reports. her leg, Mogan's, is outside the bed with her foot on the floor, and the knife sheath is under her thigh. Which thigh, though? Right or left? That's what I want to know. And it's sticking straight out, Turvey argued. If you're seeing her, you are seeing the sheath. So Turvey believes this could mean either that it wasn't there when they first looked, or they are lying about it not being there. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. It is possible for them to miss it in the case where you're looking at a bunch of blood and a bunch of bodies. What Turvey said with a shrug, yes. But these officers are not idiots. The people are from Idaho. They know what a knife sheath looks like. They are not new to the game. There's just so many questions. So many questions. It's just like that's where I'm at. And then Talbot says he found it on the floor. That's the most difficult part because it's dot 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 not on the floor according to photos. So either this is it was either on the floor and somebody moved it, or it was I don't know. I don't know. Durr. You have a nice sheath placed upside down underneath the thigh, uh, and it has got just a teeny little bit of blood on it, but the bed sheet underneath it is spattered with blood, with little dots all over the place like a starry night, and the sheath doesn't have hardly any on it. When it slides on top of the bloodstains, those blood splatters, it doesn't disturb them. It means they were dry. Talking about the blood splatter stains being dry. So Trivy believes somebody after the blood had dried slid this knife sheath under her thigh. I think it's a valid point, and porous nature of the leather suggests that contact with the liquid on the sheets would have produced transfer smears. It would have. If it would have been, slid under her leg, there would have been some transfer. I should have screenshotted that thing because I was looking at it when I was looking for these kinds of pictures. Let me have a little bit of a break here. I used to get in trouble in school. I used to get detention because all I did was talk, and now I'm like, oh my god, talking. Give me a second here. You guys have any questions or something? Let me know. Like, put them in the chat or in the comments if you're a replay crew. Like, what is your thoughts? Because you can easily Google this sheath, and there's a picture online of it. There's hardly any blood on it, and it's as bloody and gruesome as these murders were. There would have been blood on it. I gotta stop talking. I gotta rest my jaw. My jaw's kind of starting to hurt. Only have oh, about 5 or 6 more pages to where I stopped. I forgot where I was at. Oh, right here. Okay, so we're talking about the blood on the sheets being dry, no transfer. And if this is true, that means either the offender was there after the blood drain, that's one possibility, or law enforcement found it, as Talbot said, on the floor and shoved it under the thigh to make it look like it was dropped with with the crimes. Okay, so keep in mind when Hunter went to the house, he had the passcode to get in. I'm sorry, they're young, stupid college kids giving out the freaking passcode to their house, and then this shit happens. So, my theory is Dylan gave the passcode to somebody that did this, or and she helped. That's just my theory. I don't know. I don't know. Because Bethany doesn't really play a huge part in this. Everything's about Dylan. Dylan, Dylan, Dylan. I mean, of course, Bethany, she's out in no man's land all by herself, so she's whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's just, we do know Brian did come back though. He did come back in the mornings. I believe he did a couple drive-bys before they were discovered. So, but why would he put his own sheath under there? Like, why would he do that? Knowing damn well that he could have traces of his DNA on it. I don't think he did it though. Let me see again. Oh. Oh my gosh, sorry guys. Again, if the K-bar sheath was found on the bed, as Talbot's photo suggests, and not on the floor as Talbot recorded, how did it end up logged beneath Mogan's thigh without any transfer? How did liquid blood from these horrific murders soak the bed, the sheets, the comforter, and the victim's clothing, but not transfer to the sheath? How? Anybody explain this to me? Either way, Trevi said somebody deliberately placed it there. It doesn't matter who. At this point, somebody deliberately placed it there, and then you add what happens, or I'm sorry, what appears to be a fabricated chain of custody, and it becomes a piece of evidence that is essentially, in any other courthouse in America, admissible. An apparent fabricated chain of custody? I asked. No allegations of this kind have been made among dozens of oh, I don't know, in limitations by defense. What chain of custody? At this point, Trivia produced a photograph never before disclosed to the public. It depicts a brown paper bag that has been folded flat and sealed with red and white tape labeled evidence. That's all capitalized too. The bag itself is hand dated 11/16/2022 and is signed by someone who, though difficult to read, appears to be Shannon, and I'm not going to say her last name. There are 3 white stickers affixed to the bag. The first at the top says chain of custody and shows transfer on 12/16/2022 from a person named Candy to C. McKenna. On the line directly beneath that, the form documents same-day transfer from McKenna to a person only identified by the initials TDO. That is just a guess, however, because the penmanship is horrible. Beneath the label marked chain of custody is a second sticker titled Idaho State Police. Beneath it says police barcode here. So this goes back to when this Chris guy was on Brian Enton, and he was talking about the chain of custody and how like the lab wouldn't do it because there was no chain of custody, and then that all of a sudden they get it back and there is a chain of custody, same color of pen, same handwriting. But then the Moscow police department said that they don't write on their stuff anymore. They use a barcode scanner thing, which I have to look into that because I don't know anything about that. A sticker to Idaho State Police, the police barcode here. Though the barcode is actually placed at the bottom of the bag, that barcode sticker labeled M2022-4841, labeled item number 1, suspected biostain swab/miscellaneous items, K-bar sheath with USMC logo. After the label is marked Moscow Police Department, agency, case number, da 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 da. Returning to the label above, someone has handwritten case number D22-30, followed by description, knife sheath, offense date 11/13/2022, subject UNK, chain of custody person forms, okay. And then it has like the picture, and it says like from scene to Detective Talbot, the date, and then from Talbot to Payne, the date, and it just yeah. There's like 6 of them on here. So I shrugged. It's a bag with a chain of custody form attached. So I'm gonna do a little exercise trivia answered. How many people, according to this chain of custody, the have handled this item of evidence? How many different names? I counted them. 6 on the forms, plus the name on the bag, so that's 7. 7, yes. Amended. um, it's Shannon, Flora, McKenna, Talbot, Payne, Willerfon and Tertine. I'm not sure. I'm butchering that one name. It is not unusual to find 7 names on one piece of evidence, but it is odd to find 2 separate chain of custody forms. It is even stranger to have an evidence storage vessel, in this case, a brown paper bag, marked with the name that does not appear on either of the two chain of custody forms. It seems to be a real problem that the date on the bag reads 11/16/2022, 3 days after the evidence was supposedly backed. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then goes more on about the bag. So whatever, I don't know how Moscow does their chain of custody. That was a lot. I need a minute, guys. I need a minute. He's just pretty much on the next page going on about how this chain of custody handwriting stuff is could have been thrown out, but then the Moscow Police Department does the scanner barcode stuff. It's yeah. Uh, okay, talks about let me see. Chervy explained if you withhold that from the other side, if you lie about their background and don't disclose that up front, that's a Brady's violation, meaning the defense could request and the judge could grant exclusion of all evidence tainted by any proven violation. So he's trying this Truby is trying to say that it was a violation on Moscow's end of not writing their names on there, even though they used like the scanner and barcode things. Specifically, there's a concept in law enforcement called the Gil- Giglo's list. I think that's how you say it. This is a list of all officers who cannot testify because they are known to have given false evidence and testimony. Dun, dun, dun. If the prosecution cannot demonstrate who handled each exhibit, I'm telling you, this barcode shit goes on for a while. Where those exhibits were kept and when they were handled, it is impossible to prove they were not corrupted. Chain of custody is particularly important in the matter of the K-bar sheath because DNA found on the thumb snap was Harold Harold as the most compelling evidence in this case. If the sheath were found to be corrupted or its lineage in any way uncertain, the DNA could have been deemed corrupt as well, fruit of the prosecution's tree. So, if let's just say Moscow does the bar or doesn't do the barcode scanning thing, and they actually had to sign it, this K-bar sheath could have been thrown out. Brian probably would have got off scot free. Okay. Detective Talbot and his team picked up the K-bar sheath in Mogan's room, placed it in a brown paper bag, and sealed the bag with a clear plastic tape that labeled evidence. He apparently did not document the time, place, or even the file number of the case where the bet on the bag. How do we know this? Because we have a photo of the bag and we have an email from the ISP crime lab to Detective Talbot saying They cannot process the containment of the bag without a chain of custody documenting its path. Remember, this is the knife sheath, the foundation of the case against Kohlberger, and we have an email from the state police lab to the guy who seized it saying it has no chain of custody attached. Um, Goes into talking about how evidence can get destroyed while it's getting tested. Mm. So my report goes to the prosecution and they come back saying we have our own expert. And she actually agrees with some of what I said. Not the important parts, of course, like the pattern analysis and timeline. They said her theory is that the killer is running around the house naked. Naked. This is the what the fuck. They said they believe the killer took off his clothes and cleaned up and then got dressed afterwards. That's what prevented a bodily transfer outside the house. What? I'm sorry, but if he's naked, eating people, and these girls and Ethan are fighting back, oh, they would have went right for his junk. Right for the junk. No, I don't know. There's no way. That would just be weird to be naked. The prosecution believed Kohlberger committed the crimes naked? Yes, Trivy nodded. Sutton concluded that Kohlberger must have been running around the house committing these murders naked. And once that it was in her report, the prosecution had to go with it. Can you imagine if this went to trial and the prosecution said that he was naked? That would have nailed their call. I don't think the jury would have believed that. The problem is that Koberger would have had to wash up somewhere, but the bathrooms on the second and third floor showed no evidence of that. They looked undisturbed. The first floor bathroom, however, was completely clean. There was no towels, no laundry, no toothbrushes, makeup, not even any toilet paper. Nothing. It was a pristine empty it was pristine, empty, and it was missing everything. Again, he interjected that the state alleged that Brian Kohlberger was running around the house naked. It was 30 degrees out, but somehow stripped off his clothes before entering with deliberate intent to commit what prosecutors concluded were non sexually motivated crimes. Or he came in wearing clothes, but then somehow snuck down to the first floor where he cleaned up in the bathroom. I don't know if there's a bathroom on the first floor. I know there's an extra bedroom and there are some pictures. And I have pictures for later on because I seen some stuff and I'm like, damn it, spoiler alert. Got dressed and ran back upstairs where Dylan saw him dressed in black, wearing a blavaka. Word I can't say either. But he did not kill her. Are you serious? Yeah. Let's see. Witness cleaned up my hands. Let me see here. I have some stuff highlighted here. Maybe not. Let's see. Prosecuting acts. The prosecuting acts in the case, including the external living witness, the cleanup of bodily hands, feet, footwear, and clothing before leaving, and dispose of said clothing along the weapons used. Directed evidence is cleanup. Transfer, which was located in a different area of the home. Indirect evidence includes the absence of blood transfer. See, at least, let me see, number of suspects. At least 2 suspects were involved in this attack. Okay, so this is mm, uh, okay, it is Turvey's 24-page document titled Crime Scene Analysis. There are some things in here which I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna pass over some of this. Okay. Um, he goes through like A, and then it's like 1, 2 under A, B, 1, 2 under B, that kind of stuff in here. But B, it says number of suspects. At least 2 suspects were involved in this attack. This is indicated by the fact that multiple weapons were used against Kaylee, that multiple types of lethal force were used against Kaylee, and that Ethan and Xana appeared to have been attacked at the same time. This is inconsistent with the state's theory that these crimes were committed solely by one individual. Yep. They talk about the crime scene staging. The one is this sheath that we just went over, how it was placed under Maddie's thigh, how the sheath was face down, how it was placed in a location without receiving blood transfer. Okay, E, primary target. The primary target in this case was Kaylee. She was specifically targeted by the suspect, and the rest of the victims in the home were collateral. This is based on the following facts and evidence. 1, Kaylee's room was the least convenient and most risky to access in the home, yet she and Madison were attacked first. 2, the attack suffered by Kaylee was the most extensive, involving the most injuries, and was therefore the most time consuming. 3, Kaylee was stabbed repeatedly in her face until they had to use probably dental records, I'm gonna say that, to actually figure out who she was, and or fingerprints. No other victims suffered this amount of close-up facial attention. 4, Kaylee suffered multiple types of lethal force, stabbing, blunt force trauma, and asphyxiation. All other victims suffered only from the lethal force. This level of uncertainty or unnecessary close interaction and brutality are characteristics of primary targets in case motivated by anger and rage. Why? What did Kaylee do? Me What did Kaylee do? Does anybody know? Can somebody explain to me why Kaylee took the brunt of all this trauma and everybody else didn't get it as bad as she did? My theories are: 1, he may have seen her out and about somewhere, whatever, stalked her online, stalked her to the house, and was like, "Oh, they're having a party and there's a whole bunch of people coming in and out. I can just slip in and out and no people will just think I'm there for the party." And that's how he knew how to move around the house. Was just he's undetected. He's hiding in plain sight with all these college kids. That's how would I think how he knew. How would he know where Kaylee's room is if that's the first time he's ever been in that house? He had to have known the layout. Okay, and then F, motive. The physical and behavioral evidence, in this case, evidence in anger, retaliation, motivation. As explained in Trivia's 2022, this is evidence by crime scene behaviors that involve a great deal of rage, either toward a specific person, group, or institution, or a symbol of either. It is also evident by the way by what may be referred to as overkill. Injury behind that needed to cause death, involving the repeated infliction of injuries sustained to the application of lethal force in combination with multiple types of lethal, oh my god, force against one victim and not the others. This motive is all but confirmed. And I took out my damn it. There's one more. There's a couple more pages, and I took out my thingy here. Hold on, let me read this because it's not highlighted. I don't care about your history. Condition and the nature of quality understanding forensics. That's boring. Let me see. Trevi's forensic analysis of crime scene is correct, and the evidence gathered by the detective Talbot may be tainted. See, if this had gone to trial, Trevi opinioned, it seems almost inconceivable that Judge Harper would have allowed it. The K-bar sheath and the DNA evidence supposedly found on it would have been introduced. Why in the world, one might ask, would Ann Taylor choose not to challenge the single most important piece of evidence against her client? I asked her that myself, Trivia responded. I asked her twice. Once the week before Kohlberger changed his plea, and once about 2 weeks later. I recorded my Zoom call with her. That's who his informant is, because Chris talks about having an informant. So it's this trivia guy. I asked her, how is it possible that she allowed her client to plead guilty in light of such demanding, demeaning shit? You can watch it, but before you do, you have to look at the rest of what I discovered while analyzing this case. After 27 years in this business, I barely believe it myself. And that's where that ends. There is also a 17-minute phone call that was made from Jack to Kaylee that night. And it was when they were home. But everybody's saying that Kaylee called him. No, Kaylee didn't call him. Jack called her. This is from what I have read and seen. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take it back. But yeah, that was taken out of this book. We are at, what does this say, part 2? Oh my god, what is part 2? It just says part 2, the August effect. It's not even a chapter. It's just is it missing pages? 147, 48, 49, 50, 51. Okay, no, it was not missing pages. Oh, this is the little letter from Brian to his sister on 10/9 of 2023. Dear Amanda, there's Z's on the end. In the abstract sense and via intuitive capacities, the August effect can be analyzed to the gravitation of hearts promise unto the green pastures ahead. ... Always in your heart. Brian with Z's on the end. Brian C. Kohlberger. Letter to his sister, Latell County Jail. I am so over this shit. This book just pisses me off. I don't know. I am totally team for kids. Totally. But it does make you wonder, though, if there was a second person. Dylan's shit keeps changing. Or kept changing. And then I was thinking about it, too, and I was talking to my husband last night about it. Dylan fell off the radar real fucking fast after everything happened. Real fast. And I get it. She can't stay in that house. Her and Bethany couldn't stay in that house. And that's totally understandable. And I get that. It was just, we never heard anything from Dylan. We didn't even know her name at first. We all were calling her D. I don't know. This is just my opinion and my thoughts. But it's just weird, though, that I originally I coulda swore that Kaylee's mom said that Kaylee drove down because she was no longer living there. She graduated, I believe it was a month early, a month or 2 early. Um, she drove down to show her the girls and Maddie her new ride because she had just got that SUV, just got it. And I thought that's why she went down, but the book is saying that Dylan asked Kaylee to be her plus one at some formal, and it just happened to be that weekend that Kaylee's down there that all this happens. And all their friends happen to have the passcode to their door. I don't know. I just wish Koberger. I'm actually waiting for the families or the Gonzalez. I'm saying their name wrong. Kaylee's parents to get a letter from Brian. That's what I'm waiting for. Because Brian seems he seems like he's the guy that's going to want to keep ripping open that wound. I'm waiting for the letter and the letter for him to say exactly what happened in the house. What he did to those kids. Cuz I feel like he was obsessed with that one guy. I can't think of the name on top of his head. Isn't his name is letters. That one guy. KD, KB, K, whatever the hell it is, K something. He was obsessed with him, and just, like, looking at his face and looking at his eyes, he is 100% dead on the inside. There's, like, no life behind those eyes. I looked into my dead husband's eyes, and there was you could tell there was no life. That's the same eyes that Brian has. They're dead. He's dead on the inside. But I just feel like he wants to keep because he wants his 15 minutes of fame is what he wants. He got his 15 minutes of fame. But I just feel like he is going to sometime down in the future, mark my words, one of the families or all of the families are going to get a letter from Brian. It's either him taunting them or him telling everything. Just because he wants to keep his name in the public. I don't know. All right. I'm gonna get off here. My throat is so dry. I've been trying to drink tons of water. I'm like almost done with my second bottle of water in an hour and a half of reading this book. It's raining here, so my sinuses are it's just like I'm a hot mess when it rains, let me tell you. But I wanted to come live yesterday, but I had a whole bunch of stuff I had to do, and then my stepdaughter forgot her shoes, and I had to run them to her at work. It was just, ugh, I don't know. But I seriously, guys, like I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Like I said in part one, we're not going to bash people in the comments for their opinion. We're not going to do any of that shit. If you have an opinion, put it in the comments. I'm fine with that. You just need to respect my opinion, other people's opinion about what they think happened. Because there's so many, and there's so many unanswered questions. And I'm going to tell you right now, I bet this book is not going to even answer half of them. We're just finding shit out at this point. I don't know. But all right, guys, I am going to go and do some adulting shit. Yay for being an adult. And then I'm going to see how much more I can read tonight, and hopefully I can go live tomorrow because I need to put these parts out faster. I don't really have anything going on tomorrow or today or tomorrow because it's raining here. I can't do shit. I need to get outside. I need to do my flower bed. I need to plant my garden. I like I said, I'll try to be live tomorrow. If not, what is tomorrow? Well, I'll Friday. Probably not over the weekend because I do have my stepkids here and they will be here, and I'm not going to put them out online like that. So I will try tomorrow. I'll read some